This video is to be used for educational purposes only and is not intended to replace individual research or licensed investment advice. Unique experiences and past performance does not guarantee future results. Trading stocks, options, and spot currencies involves substantial risk, and there's always the potential for loss. Your trading results may vary. No representations are being made that any software or training will guarantee profits or not result in losses from trading. This is the PremiereTrade Market Wrap.
This is the Market Wrap on a Friday. I'm Jack Lott here on the James Dix Financial Network. Well, it was a tough day on Wall Street. At one point, the Dow fell over 300 points as a reaction to the bleak economy about an hour before the trading ended today. Gold futures rose above $900 an ounce for the first time as high oil prices, a weak dollar, and fears of U.S. recession led to uneasy investors keep buying the precious metal. Commerce Department reports that the trade deficit, the gap between imports and exports, jumped by 9.3% to $63.1 billion. The imbalance was much larger than the $60 billion that had been expected. Meantime, China's trade surplus narrowed in December and money supply growth dwindled, signaling that the fastest economic expansion in 13 years may have just peaked. Price of goods imported into the U.S. were unchanged in December after rising by an upwardly revised 3.3% in November. The November gain was the most in 17 years. According to the RBC Cash Index, consumer confidence tumbled to a mark of 56.3 in early January and was the worst since the index began back in 2002. Bank of America announced today it's going to buy Countrywide Financial for $4.1 billion in a stock deal that would rescue the country's biggest mortgage lender and expand the financial services empire of the nation's largest consumer bank. The nation's largest brokerage firm, Merrill Lynch, is expected to report losses of $15 billion stemming from the soured mortgage investments. And American Express said it's seeing signs of a weaker U.S. economy that is impacting its cardholders' ability to make purchases and pay their bills. In Forex News today, top Japanese finance officials gave conflicting economic assessments, with the central bank chief predicting a slowdown in Japan, while the economy minister said that she saw no sign of one. The BOJ last raised its key policy interest rate in February from 0.25 to a half percentage point. Central bank was widely expected to raise rates further, but held off to monitor the economy as problems from defaults on risky mortgages in the U.S. spread around the world. Meantime, Canada's dollar fell for a sixth straight day, its longest slide since last March, as the economy unexpectedly lost jobs in December, reinforcing expectations that the U.S. slowdown was hurting the nation's economy. The Canadian economy lost 18,700 jobs last month after creating 42,600 back in November. The pound headed for a fourth weekly decline against the euro and a second week of losses versus the dollar, as traders added to bets the Bank of England will cut interest rates next month. The pound traded near a record low against the common European currency today as derivatives prices showed traders attributed 88% odds to the central bank lowering its main rate of a quarter percentage point February 7th after leaving it at 5.5% earlier in the week. Scheduled economic reports out next week include the retail sales index, producer price index, inventories, CPI, the consumer price index, industrial production and capacity utilization, home builders index, the Fed beige book, housing starts, Philly Fed index, consumer sentiment, and the conference board's leading indicators. In earnings today, Tiffany cut the top end of its fiscal 2007 projection. The company said it now expects to report profit excluding items somewhere in the range of $1.25 to $1.28 a share. P.F. Chang's China Bistro said it expects fiscal fourth quarter net income ahead of analyst expectations, helped by higher revenue in December. Best Buy, the top U.S. electronics chain, kept its full-year profit forecast after December sales were driven by holiday demand for flat-panel televisions, notebook computers, as well as video games. Scheduled earnings out next week: General Electric, AMR Corp, IBM, Samsung, and Nokia. Citigroup, Intel, Mesa Air, State Street, U.S. Bancorp, Wells Fargo, Briggs & Stratton, Washington Mutual, as well as the California Pizza Kitchen. Stocks in the news today: Cinex Corp's fourth quarter net income rose 29% to $20.2 million. That is equivalent to 61 cents a share. United Rentals raising its 2007 full-year per share earnings forecast to account for its receipt of $100 million or 50 cents a share. And Imation Corp expects fourth quarter and full-year earnings to exceed its previous guidance for both periods. And that is the market wrap on a Friday. Jack Lott here on the James Dix Financial Network.